Hello, you're watching Philosophy Point with Paul KOLBERG, exploring life's deeper questions, one thought at a time. Today, I'm going to be talking about creation and the limits of human creativity, or rather, the fact that there aren't any. In principle, there is only one limit to what humans can and will create. Let me explain. Think about the advances we've made in the last 250 years in every aspect of our physical, material existence. The advances in medicine, technology, science, art, literature, everything. When we reflect upon these things, we realize that before anything came into existence, it first started as a thought. Someone imagined something that eventually came into being. The only limit as to what humans can create is human imagination. But before imagination, before a thought materialized, the potential for what was imagined existed. It was there waiting to be brought to mind, and then materialized, literally. If it can be imagined, humans can create it, and so far probably have, or are close to doing so. There is no limit to what can be imagined, but there is a limit to what the brain can imagine. There is not inconsiderable evidence that many of the most important advances in all areas of science and art have come about not from the brain thinking, but by intuition. Intuition is a word that points to an energy or source that is not derived from the brain. Actually, and ironically, inspired or intuitive thoughts come to mind at the point of no thinking. Such intuition seems to come from nowhere, from nothing. But when we think about that, the intuition did not come from no thing. It came from everything. It existed or had the potential to exist from a source that contained all the other things that humans imagined. This principle is true of the universe, the visible and non-visible universe. The universe was not created from nothing. The universe was created from everything. That everything is what the Abrahamic religions call God, in Hinduism, Brahman, in Buddhism, Sunyata, and in Taoism, the way or the flow. Everything includes all dualities, physical and non-physical, time and no time, positive and negative, good and bad, and so on ad infinitum. The dualities include finite and infinite. All the major religions say that the creator of the universe lacks nothing, since the creator is everything. But before manifestation of creation, God, or the source, clearly lacked manifestation of creation. God had the desire, non-physical, to share, but God lacked the ability to physically share, since there was nothing material to share with. I use the word lack in the straightforward sense of simply being without. It should be remembered that what I am endeavouring to describe is at the non-physical material level. A thought is at that level. Thoughts exist, but they are beyond material energy. But even before thought, there is the potential for thought. One way of trying to grasp the idea is as follows. Try and be aware of the fact that you can think about your thoughts. Who is thinking about thinking? Notice, if you can, that thinking about thinking is a totally non-physical energy. It's real, it exists, but it is entirely non-physical. It must also be remembered that what I'm describing is limited by the confines of words and the limits of time, space, and energy from a human perspective. These words point to something that we can sense beyond the words, but can't define with words. Another way of grasping these ideas is to think about infinity. Simply try and imagine space in all directions, travelling without ever reaching an end. A similar exercise to think about is time running backwards and forwards to infinity without end. If you can do that, you are connecting with what is the source of creation, the Creator. Before the creation of the physical universe, before anything, there simply was, and that included was not. Before thought, there simply was and was not. Everything without limit of time or space. An analogy might be an acorn. An acorn is not yet visible as a fully grown tree, yet it is already a tree, since it contains everything within it, and that is destined to materialize into a tree. The acorn carries within it all the potential to be a tree, everything. But before the acorn, there was only the thought of an acorn. Before the thought of an acorn, there was. Before creation, God had the desire to share and the desire to receive. That must be right, since God is everything. God must also be, or rather include, desire, and of course, no desire. But how could God actually share with himself? To fulfill the desire to share and the desire to receive, God had to bring about creation. For there to be creation, there had to also be a state of non-creation. That is the state of what I describe as was. God created a vessel to receive creation. Kabbalists, Hindus, and philosophers such as Plato say that the vessel is called soul. In Judaic Kabbalah, soul is the desire to receive with a view to sharing. At the point of creation, the soul, or the vessel, received everything that God had, which was everything. Thus God could share and did share. He fulfilled the desire to share and for that which was created to be able to do the same. Clearly, at the point of sharing, the receiver, the vessel, received everything, including now both the desire to share and the desire to receive. The vessel lacked one thing. It could not be the original creator. It could only ever be that which was created. But coming from the creator, it was still connected to and had, at and as its essence, the creator. Thus everything, and I mean everything without end, includes the creator and that which is created to create. In the Upanishads of Hinduism, this is the self with a capital S, and in Judaism, what is referred to in the Torah when it is written, "Then God said, let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the wild animals of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth." So God created humankind in his image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. If humans wish to continue to create things, and especially a better world, then humans certainly have the ability to do so. But they must not rely on their brains or conscious thoughts alone. They must train themselves to stop thinking and allow the intuition to work its magic. This is what Taoism means when it alludes to going with the flow. This might be described in another way. We must train ourselves to understand the limits of conscious thought and allow the soul or unconscious thought, intuition, to become ever more prominent in the creative process. As I explained in my book, EGOdemic, The Silent Pandemic of the Mind, the soul is now a scientifically proven fact. The soul is our direct connection with the ultimate power and energy of everything. What can be created by humans will then be limited by our ability to connect to the ultimate source of everything. If the Upanishads of Hinduism and the Torah of Judaism are correct, and the evidence seems to suggest that they are, then humans have been made in God's image, and that includes the ability to create without limit, not from nothing, but from everything. If this gave you something to think about, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who would appreciate it. You can find my books and more of my work in the description down below. Thank you for watching. See you next time.